Wanna soar? Get a mentor. Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we made these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know you're capable of more, and you need that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, and learn the 7-step guide on how to never lose in life. Enjoy! Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1, develop new skills.
You will never lose in life if you have valuable skills. You won't lose your house, you won't lose your car, you won't lose your clients if you have a skill that brings people value. The economy can collapse, the algorithms can change, but as long as you have a skill that solves problems for people, you will be safe. So I'm seeing this a lot in the YouTube world now. I have a new course out helping people get to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. We can link up the description there if you want in. And people are saying, well, should I still do YouTube? Is it too late? Like YouTube won't be here in 5 years or 10 years, or maybe it's gonna be the next thing that I should hop on. It's not about the platform. Like right now, it's winning the platform that is currently winning. You need to crush it, right? Like YouTube should be your home. If you're trying to make an impact, you're trying to be a thought leader, you have a message to spread, YouTube has to be your #1 place. It just has to be right now. Otherwise, you're not making a smart decision. But whether YouTube is still around in 20 years, 5 years, doesn't matter. Because the skill set that you learn, you can take anywhere. The ability to communicate, you could take to any platform. You could take to the next thing. I don't anticipate YouTube still being around in 20 years, but my ability to make videos, talk into a lens, that's not gonna go away. That can serve me for life, right? Whether that's VR Evan or hologram Evan, coming into your living room, that's gonna be me. It's gonna be amazing. I'm pumped, I look forward to it. Any algorithm change that people are freaking out about, anybody who's complaining about the economy going down or the algorithm changing, you've already lost. That's a losing mindset. When I was first starting my YouTube channel, I always saw the algorithm as a chance to win, right? You should see, if you're a small creator on any platform, YouTube, Instagram, anything, and the algorithm shifts, that's your greatest advantage. You should be cheering. You should want more algorithm changes. If you look at a traditional, established, boring market, it's hard to win. Real estate could be hard to win, right? Financial markets can be hard to win. It's not that it's not possible, it's just hard to win because there's a lot of people who have decades of experience and know more than you, and it's hard to close that gap of experience. With social media, with YouTube, every time there's a big algorithm change, the people who are experts at the last thing, they're crying instead of adjusting. That's how you win. That's how you get ahead of them. That's how you become the top dog, is because you're gonna go learn the new algorithm when everybody is wishing and hoping that the old algorithm comes back. And this happens for every platform. It happened for Facebook. Every time they changed your algorithm or updated the feed and what was shown there, people always freak out and complain, and they want petitions and like, let's go back to how it used to be. Don't sign those petitions. Don't jump on that bandwagon. That is loser thinking. Never, ever, 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 ever do that. It's loser thinking, and that's how most people think. That's a mindset shift that I want to make for the collective, but more importantly for you. That whenever there's a big change, embrace it. Go all in on it. Learn it. That's how you're going to leapfrog everybody else. So the faster the rate of change, the more you should be cheering. I still get pumped for an algorithm change. Me. I mean, now I'm closer to the top, right? I mean, I don't know what the top is. I got 2 million subscribers and 300 million views and all these channels. I still love it. Anytime an algorithm change comes out, I'm still pumped. Train yourself. Like a change is coming, I'm pumped. Get excited. Because there's still people who are ahead of me, or even the people below me that I'm competing with for attention and for space. If they're sitting there complaining about how it's changed and they're dropping in their views, awesome. I'll pick up those views because I'm going to learn what the new algorithm is all about. Same thing with the economy. When the economy crashes, everybody who's complaining about how it used to be, they're not going to win. It's comforting to join a club and wish things to be how they used to be, but we're not going back to that. So the faster you realize that and make improvements, the faster you can learn and actually build a great business. Some of the greatest businesses in the world were built in recession, in depression. That could be you if you decide to be. Let's hop back to skills for a second. I look at Jake Paul, Logan Paul. They started on Vine, right? Vine was their claim to fame. They had tons of success in making these super short videos. Vine gets shut down, right? Boom, gone. This is don't put all your eggs in one basket. I think that's loser thinking too. It's loser thinking. They went all in on Vine, and then Vine got shut down. Oh no. What did they do? They moved to YouTube and started crushing it. Millions of subscribers. Look at their growth on YouTube over the past, 2 years, 3 years. Blew up. Why? They didn't just come out of nowhere. They had the skill set. They had the skill set that they learned from doing the thing, right? The skill set to make a good video, they then brought to a new platform. If YouTube goes away, you're learning the skill set of how to communicate, how to make great videos, that whatever comes next. People were freaking out about the FTC coming in and COPPA on YouTube. Okay, so if kids aren't able to get content on YouTube, where are they gonna go? Go be there. Instead of trying to fight what is already happening, go be at the place where the kids are gonna be. Embrace the change. That's where you can win. When everybody else is fighting and angry and screaming and yelling and complaining and wishing that it used to be, or quitting the platform and getting upset, go be where they're gonna be. It's easy, it's a simple win. Most people don't have that mindset. It's why most people lose. It's why most businesses can't evolve. Most businesses shut down. It's people very rarely transition from one platform to another, from one business to another, even though they have the skill sets and capabilities to do so, because they don't have the mindset to do so. People who crushed MySpace, very few of them are still around on different platforms. Look at Hollywood. The Rock is doing it. Will Smith is doing it, moving from Hollywood films to YouTube. Where's Brad Pitt? Where's George Clooney? Like, they're in a dying industry. They should be embracing YouTube. They don't want to. They have the skills. They have the skills. It's transferable. You don't think George Clooney could come in and crush YouTube if he wanted to? Of course he could. Calling you out, George Clooney. Let's go. Make it happen. Right? So it's about picking up the skill set. That will keep you safe in any environment. But it's also having a mindset to follow through and try the new things instead of complaining about the changes that are currently happening. So how can you do it? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step 1 is make sure your actions map to your ambitions. This will help you determine what skill set you need. What are your ambitions? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want out of life? There's so many ways to win. You know, if you've gone through the who, why, how process, you know what your purpose is, you know what you're trying to accomplish, you've read Built to Serve. Well, you can't read it yet, it's still in pre-order, but you understand the concept, you figure out your purpose, great. To actually go off and accomplish it, what are the skill sets that you actually need? What are the skill sets you need to develop? Even if you suck at it, if you're not naturally good at it. I'm introverted. I'm not naturally good in front of the camera. It took me 6,000 videos to get here. Right? I got better with practice and repetition and dedication and hard work and all of that. You can too. What are the skill sets that you need to acquire to get the life that you want? And then you can start working on them. So first step is figure out how do you map your actions to your ambitions. Second step is to learn to tell yourself that it's the best. It's the best. It's the best. Every time something negative is happening to you, the economy is crashing, an algorithm is changing, a new competitor comes in, something negative is happening, you tell yourself it's the best. This is the best. This is my chance to prove to myself and the world what I'm made of. When an algorithm changes and you say it's the best, you're gonna find a new solution. If you sit there and complain and get negative and toxic, you're not gonna find a new solution. The best part of saying it's the best is it shifts your mindset from one of complaining and lack of resourcefulness to one of ultimate resources. To be able to say, I'm gonna go solve this thing. Let's go. It shifts your mindset. So many people get stuck in the negativity. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you're positive and optimistic and have great hopes for the future and where you want to go, if you spend all this time and energy building up this thing and then it gets taken away from you, it's really hard to say this is the best. But that's what you need to do, because otherwise you spend the rest of your life living off of past glory to say, well, this is what I used to be and it was all taken away from me and now life sucks. Like, you want the next 40 years of your life to be thinking like that? No. It's the best. The economy crashes, it's the best. You're gonna crush it. Algorithm changes, it's the best. You're gonna crush it. New competitor comes in, it's the best. You're gonna crush it, right? You grow through difficult times. You get better through difficult times. You don't wanna do the same thing over and over and over and over again. That's boring. That's photocopying your life. That's not what you want. You wanna grow, you wanna progress. Self-confidence, self-love, all of it comes from doing difficult things. By telling yourself that when that difficult thing comes, it's the best. This is my chance to rise up and show myself and the world what I'm capable of, as opposed to saying, this sucks, and sit in negativity all day, all week, all month, all year, all decade. And step number 3 is understand that the quantity leads to the quality. We figured out what our skill is that we want to get good at, right? We understand that it's the best, that when other people are complaining, we're going to rise up and improve our skills and get better at the thing, because that's how we're going to win. And now number 3 is the practice, the daily grind, the constant improvement. I've done 6,000 videos. It's how I got better at this. The thing that you want to get great at, you have to do a lot of. You're going to suck at the beginning. You're not going to have any quality. That's okay. That's great. It's the best, right? But then through repetition, through practice, through daily hustle, attacking the thing that you love doing, even though other people see it as work and torture, you love it. You're getting better at it. That's how you're going to improve your skills. Every skill set is possible to acquire. It's just a skill. Doesn't mean you suck as a human. It just means you don't have the skill set yet. How do you get the skill set? By practicing. The quantity leads to the quality. And so back to point number one of your actions mapped to your ambitions, how much are you practicing? You want to acquire the skill set. How much time are you actually spending on that skill set? You want to be a great editor? Great. How much time are you spending editing? You want to be a great piano player? How much time are you spending piano? Right? You might have some natural ability for it. Awesome. And if you don't, I had no natural ability to be good in front of the camera. Go back and watch my first videos. You'll see. You'll see how much I sucked. No natural ability. Zero. It took a long time. Practice, dedication, hard work, right? Actions mapped to your ambitions by putting the quantity that leads to the quality. How much are you doing? Show me your calendar. Show yourself your calendar. Pull up your calendar. Look at your next week. Look at your next month. That skill that you want to acquire, that's going to save you from the recession, from the algorithm change, that's going to bring people value, that skill that you need to acquire, it's going to pay you. How much time are you spending developing it? And if it's not a lot, if it's not sometime every day, you got to change your mindset. You got to change your calendar. You need to change your actions. Because right now, if that's you, your actions are not mapping to your ambitions. I want you to win. You need to get the skill sets. That's the path.
Rule number 2, raise your standards.
The difference in people is their standards. The world is full of people who started with less than what you already have right now, and they're winning. And too many people are out there complaining. Complaining that you don't have the money, that you don't have the time, that you don't have the experience, that you don't have the personality for it. All legitimate, logical reasons. But others have done it with those very same circumstances as you, with worse circumstances than you. The difference is they have a higher standard for themselves. And today, we're gonna raise yours. One of the things I'm most proud about for myself, why do I love Evan Carmichael, is because when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it, especially when it gets hard. Like, it doesn't count until it gets hard. And I'm doing it not just for other people. I'm doing it not just because I promised you that I would show up. I'm doing it for myself because I said I was gonna do something and then I go off and do it. This is the foundation of self-esteem, of self-confidence, of self-love, doing it when you say you're gonna do it. And so on Monday, I usually have a 2-hour walking meeting with Alex. Alex helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. He comes over, Monday's my mentoring day, and we'll usually go for a 2-hour walk around the city. And it's starting to get cold. You know, it's winter time here, it's getting cold. And so we bundle up and we go for our 2-hour walk while we talk and while we meet. I'm trying to do walking meetings more, just for my own health and just for the challenge of it, because it's easy to start something like that in the spring or in the summer. It's really hard to do it when it's in the winter and you live in Toronto, Canada, and it's snowing and cold, right? So this Monday, Alex was sick. He still came in, he was sick, he was running a bit of a fever, not crazy sick, but just sick. And Nina, my wife, super caring, said, hey, maybe you shouldn't go for a walk outside. And my heart just like, come on, no, we have to. I said I was gonna do it, right? I have to, for myself, I have to go on the walk. Like, I'll go on the walk and leave Alex at my place and and just film the meeting with him. But we came up with a different solution, which was, I live in a condo, we have a gym in my condo, and we went down to the condo gym and I walked on the treadmill while he stood or sat next to me for 2 hours. Because I said that I was gonna do it. How important is that 1-2 hour walk? Not much, right? In itself, not much. Am I gonna get healthy from doing that one walk? No. Am I gonna lose weight by doing that one walk? No. I'm gonna have so much more mental clarity by doing that one walk? Of course not. But it's the whole game, because you're teaching yourself that you follow through. You're teaching yourself that you have high standards. You're teaching yourself that when you say you're gonna do something, you follow through, because life is coming for you with a ton of roadblocks. Life is going to throw tons of curveballs at you. If you can only do the thing that you said you were going to do when it's easy and the path is perfectly clear, you're never going to do it. This is why people don't stay consistent, because as soon as life gets hard, you let yourself off the hook. You allow your standards to drop, to say, oh, it's okay. Yeah, of course I can't go for a walk because Alex is sick. Right? And there are definitely legitimate times when you should let yourself off the hook. If I was dying in bed with a fever and I couldn't get out of bed, I wouldn't go for the walk. That makes sense. Don't be stupid. There's times when you need to be gentle on yourself. But more often than not, we are too gentle on ourselves when we shouldn't be. I could have done the walk, and we did it. We did it in the gym downstairs, and Alex stood next to me and sat next to me and didn't have to go outside and get the cold on him, and I still got my walk in, right? And I feel great about it because I did it when it was hard, because here's this obstacle that life's throwing at me. Here's an easy way when everybody around me is saying, you don't have to go off and do it. And a little tiny voice inside my own head saying, okay, well, here's a chance. You don't have to do it. Like, no, be quiet, voice. I'm doing it. We're finding a solution. Let's go. And the solution is going to walk on the treadmill downstairs. So how can you start raising your standards for yourself? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is building credibility with yourself. This is so important. This is the starting point. This is the foundation. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. It starts with getting up in the morning. Most people, the first thing they do is they hit the alarm clock, right? You snooze. That's the very first thing. And I think that's a mental trap. I think every time you hit the snooze button, you're starting your day telling yourself that you suck. The very last thing you did last night was say, I'm going to wake up at whatever clock in the morning tomorrow. And the very first thing you do in the morning is say, I'm not going to hit my goal. Right? That is not what you want to train yourself to do. That is teaching yourself from the very first second that you wake up, right? The second you wake up, you're telling yourself, I suck, I'm not going to hit my goal. Stop doing that. When you say you're going to do something, you do it. You do it. You do it. Even if it's a small version of it, you still do it. If you said you're going to do push-ups every day and you feel really sick, do 2 push-ups just to show yourself that you do it. You have to set goals and then follow through. So be very careful, very intentional about the goals that you set for yourself. And then once you do, you have to follow through. You have to put your best effort on accomplishing that goal for the day, because that's where your self-love comes from. Your self-love comes from doing difficult things. It comes from setting goals, and then once it gets difficult, you still following through. That's how you build credibility with yourself, because the challenge is, if you snooze, if you let yourself off the hook, if you don't go for the walk, if you don't do the thing as soon as it gets a little tiny bit hard, the next time you set a goal, you're going to get excited and say, I'm going to do this goal. This is my next goal. I'm pumped up. And then the next day you're going to say, I'm not going to do that, because you don't do any of your goals, because you've taught yourself that you set goals and don't follow through. This is the starting point. Set fewer goals. And once you set them, you have to follow through. Number 2 is remember your big why and little why. This is what helps keep you on track. Your big why is your big vision for what you're trying to accomplish, the big mission that you're on. I want to solve the world's biggest problem. I want people to believe in themselves more, right? It's what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And sometimes that's motivating and inspiring and amazing and gets me going and wants me to raise my standards to get there. And sometimes it seems too big. And so the little why is, I don't know how I can help 1 billion people, but I help 1 person, I help 2 people. I can go to my comments and see that I help some people and they're leaving me feedback. You guys, you beautiful people, leave me feedback on my videos, right? And remembering that the work that you do is important. If you felt every day that you woke up and you were doing work that was important, you're built to serve, right? It was meaningful to people. It was helping people. The work that you did matters. It would force you to raise your standards. And you do that by remembering your big why, the mission you're trying to take on, and the little why of feeling like I helped 1 person. And sometimes that big why is amazing and that's all you need. But when that feels like it's too big, go back to the little why and remember that you helped at least 1 person. You made a difference in their lives, and you can do it again today when you raise your standards. And step number 3 is have an environment of excellence. The environment that you create for yourself really matters, because you set it up once, right? This office that I'm in, this is my office, right? I walk in here every day is what I look at. This might be really inspiring to you, or it may mean nothing to you, right? All these pictures, they mean something to me. My Doritos bag that is not here anymore because I have my new book, Built to Serve. Pre-order your copy. Links in the description. Go get it. My Doritos bag that was here. But even this book, I'm proud of this book, right? The awards that I have down here. Everything that's in my office was designed. Even the clothes that I'm wearing and the things that's on my desktop background and my cell phone background, right? It's designed with intention. The beauty of having something like this is you set it up once. I printed these pictures off once, I put them up on my wall, and every day I walk in, I've got Steve Jobs staring me down and Ipa Giannini staring me down, and my parents looking at me as soon as I walk in the door, and Howard Schultz and Kanye West, they're looking at me. They're inspiring me on a daily basis. I pull up my phone and I look at that message on my phone and my desktop, all of it, right? Design your environment. Ask yourself, what's in your environment, is it allowing you to be excellent? Is it pulling you up to a higher standard? And if it's yes, amazing, keep doing it. If it's no, then fix it. Fix it. Even putting this on every day makes me feel like a superhero. That may sound silly, ridiculous, crazy to you. Awesome, go do you, right? For me, it's what I like to do. This is what gets me feeling amazing. So whatever it is that pulls you up to a higher standard, that's in your environment, that you're doing daily, that you're probably just mailing in and just running through the routine of, right? Change it. Ask yourself, what does an excellent environment look like for you? What do you need to have on your body, in your environment, on your walls, on your backgrounds, right? Your screens. What do you need to have there that when you see it, it's going to remind you of who you are and who you want to be and the person that needs to grow to accomplish the goals that you have for yourself. Create an environment of excellence.
Rule number 3, kick yourself forward.
Comparison to other people, I think, is actually a good thing. I think you need it. I think it helps you. I think it serves you. The problem is most people look at other people, start feeling insecure, and then kick themselves down. The key is to kick yourself forward, not down. But you need that kick. Otherwise, you stay where you are. This is one of the reasons why I love Modeling Success, why I created all my YouTube channels and all the content that I've done and have the people behind me on the wall, because I love looking at other people. I love learning from other people. I love seeing somebody do amazing things and say, that's what's possible. This is what's possible. I look at Les Brown as an example, and I think he's the greatest speaker of all time, at least that I've seen. Maybe the ancient Greeks were better, I don't know, but Les Brown, modern era, on video, I think is the greatest speaker. And I look at that and say, that's what's possible. Not that I can't do that. Here's what most people do. They look at Les Brown and say, well, I can't do that. And then they start feeling insecure, and I'm just an imposter trying to be like that now. And then they quit. And then they feel low self-esteem and they beat themselves up over it because they're not Les Brown. I look at Les Brown and say, that's what's possible. This is what humans can actually accomplish and achieve. I want some of that. I want to get better. I want to drive and improve, not to be the next Les Brown, but be the best me. But this is what's possible. I look at David Goggins. Man, David Goggins, look, he came out of nowhere. Who was David Goggins? Did you guys know David Goggins 5 years ago? No. He blew up out of nowhere because of the passion and intensity and truth of his message, right? I love that. And it's easy to say and look at that and say, well, look at how passionate David Goggins is and look how he blew up. I can never do that. I'm not as strong as him. I'm not as crazy as him. I don't have the same mindset as him, and so I can't do that. And you compare yourself to Goggins, and then you say, well, I can't, and so you don't start. That's the problem. You should look at Goggins and say, look at what's possible. You could come from nowhere, nobody knowing who you are, and in a short amount of time, blow up. Because you have a message that matters. You can look at how passionate he is about his message. Every video, he's got insane passion, right? This guy, he's not gonna give you nice hugs and compliments, but he cares about his message, right? You can see that. And you can take that as what's possible. You can care deeply about your message too and model David Goggins and apply that to make your message stronger and better. I think if you just were competing with yourself, I think you're actually gonna suck. I think if you're the best at something and you don't have any competition, I think you actually suck. Being the big fish in a small pond actually limits a lot of creativity, limits your ability to go off and crush things. I think it is. I think when you even in animals, when you see animals going up against each other in a race, when somebody's close, you work a little bit harder. Right? I think we need that in our ecosystem. The key though, again, is to make sure you're kicking yourself forward to say, this is what is possible. Not this person's so much better than me, I suck, feeling insecure, feeling depressed. You need the kick. Just make sure you're kicking yourself forward, not down. So how do you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1, find 3 role models. Find 3 people that you wanna look at, that you wanna model, that you aspire to be like, that you wanna learn something from. I would pick 2 people who are in your industry. So if you want to be a YouTuber, great. Pick people who've made it on YouTube. You want to be an insurance salesperson, pick 2 people who've made it in insurance, right? Find 2 people who are in your industry, who've done a lot more than you have, and go try to learn from them. And then 1 other person who is not in your industry, but you just love, look up to, and respect. So, I mean, I look at AP Giannini. He's my favorite entrepreneur of all time. He's a banker. He started Bank of America, and he would lend money to people based off of a look in their eye and a handshake. A banker, right? Off of a handshake. Yeah, you're gonna pay me back. Can you imagine? He lent money to Walt Disney when nobody else would, when people thought he was crazy. He was the guy who gave Walt Disney the money to make his first feature-length movie. Now, I'm not in the banking industry, but I love believing in entrepreneurs. And so I can learn from him even though I don't wanna go off and start the Believe Bank. although that has a ring to it. We'll see, maybe someday. But you pick pick 3 role models, 2 people who are in your industry that you can learn from, and 1 who you just like. They've had success, so they can teach you something. They're not in your industry, but you like them for some reason, and we're gonna learn from their success and apply it to your business. Step number 2 is you push yourself forward, not down. You're gonna study these 3 people. You can watch their videos. Chances are, if they're still alive, I've probably done a video on them, unless they're super niche in something. Go watch the video, read their book, listen to the podcast or interview they may have done. Surround yourself with them to really learn and digest from them. And then use the narrative. Make sure the narrative, the story in your head is, this is what's possible. Not, this person is so great and I can never be anywhere close to it. Especially when you're seeing about their beginnings, where they came from, you realize that most of the people who you admire and look up to and respect have done amazing things. They started with less than what you have right now. They started with nothing. You have more than what they started with. And I use that as hope to say, if they can do it, why can't I? I can too. So make sure that's the narrative in your head as you're reading their stories and watching their videos and interviews. You pull from them as inspiration to say, this is what's possible. If they can do it, I can go do me. And step number 3 is surround yourself with it daily and they'll pull you up. The people around you pull you to where they are. Whoever's more confident wins. And so if you're kind of doubting your success and there's a lot of people around you who are very confident that you're not going to be successful, we might have those people, friends, family, relatives, community members who say, you're going to go do that? Are you crazy? They're highly confident that you're not going to be successful, right? If you doubt your success, then what's going to happen is whoever's more confident wins. The more you're around these people who are highly confident that you're going to lose, you're going to start to think that you're going to lose. But if you surround yourself with people who are highly successful and confident in winning, you're going to start to win. Those 3 people that we talked about in step 1 that you're going to surround yourself with, the more they're around you, they'll lift you up. They'll pull you to more success because it's changing your mindset. All the videos that I make every day are for me. They're for me because I want to be around David Goggins. I want to be around Steve Jobs. I want to be around Oprah Winfrey. I want them in my life, even though I'm not going for a run with David in the morning, right? His message penetrates me and he pulls me up to make me want to work harder, to believe in myself, to push faster. So whoever these people are that inspire you, surround yourself with them. Watch their videos every day. Put their pictures on the wall. Read their books. Listen to their podcasts. Pay attention to their interviews. Surround yourself with them and they will pull you up. They will change your mindset to start believing that it's possible, that you can do it too if the people around you are saying, it's not going to work out, you're never going to do it, go get a safe, normal, secure job. Right? It's cutting off access to the people who are bringing you down and filling yourself up with the people who make you feel like you're ready to soar.
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, the science says it can take up to 254 days of consecutive action for you to shift that habit forward. So I've designed a special free program to help you get more self-belief for every day. For 254 days, I will send you an email to an unlisted video that if you watch it, will shift your confidence forward. The links to join for free are in the description below. Hard work does not guarantee your success, but there is no success without hard work. Period. It doesn't exist.
Because your book has come out, it doesn't mean you should stop marketing. It's not just about week 1 when it just comes out. It's constantly marketing.
You have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to wake up and look forward to the day that is ahead.
Rule number 4, take accountability.
It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's not your fault that you were born broke, but it's your responsibility to fix it. It's not your fault that you had no education, but it's your responsibility to learn it. It's not your fault that you had no connections, but it's your responsibility to make them. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you're gonna win. So I recently posted to my YouTube community tab a quote about momentum. I think people don't have momentum, and I think the path to get momentum is to do work for free for ideal clients until you can prove your value and then they pay you. So here's what I wrote. I wrote, if you have no momentum, no traction, no clients, and start for free, prove your worth and build momentum. Give them something they can't wait to have again and pay for this time, #believe. And every time I write, there's always tons of great positive feedback. But this time, somebody wrote a kind of negative comment, and so I wanted to read it because it's highly applicable in this video. He said, Kitch, I don't know about some of your advice. Everything is my fault and work for free. To which I reply, yes, when you embrace those two, you'll start crushing your goals. It's a hard message to take on, right? Whether everything is your fault, everything is your responsibility, where you are right now, it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about saying, I suck and I can't get out. It's saying, listen, this is what happened to me. That's the past. The past doesn't have to equal to the future. Everything that I was born into and the circumstances that I grew up with, they don't have to be where I go going forward. Look at all your heroes. Look at the people who've made huge inroads, changed the world, the people that you look up to and aspire to be like. Very few of them were born super wealthy. Most of them had a worse upbringing than you did, and they could make it, so why can't you? You're just locked in your story. Too many people are locked into their story. They're not taking responsibility. They're not saying, this is my problem to get out of. I wasn't put here, right? You've been drafted into a war that you did not start. You were put here. And you have to survive. And then you have to learn to thrive. And it's that decision that you are in charge, that you're responsible, that if you go to the mirror and you say, why am I not achieving my goals? Why am I not further ahead? As long as you're blaming somebody else, that might keep you comfortable. Keeps you comfortable. It means you don't have to do anything, right? You're not winning because your mom, hit you. You're not winning because your dad never supported you, right? You're not winning because the school system sucks. As long as it's somebody else to blame, it's comforting. And everybody else around us are doing the same thing. Nobody's taking accountability. Everybody's saying it's somebody else's fault, right? Of course. It's not your fault that you're losing, because then you have to do something about it. And even if you're not losing, you're not hitting the goals as hard as you should. And it's so much easier to put the blame on somebody else and say, well, it's that person's fault. Where really, it's the person in the mirror. It's you. It's me. I am not further ahead in my business, on my YouTube channel, not because of the YouTube algorithm, not because my team didn't deliver the right video on time. Me. I'm the problem. It's my fault. It's my responsibility, right? I have to go fix it. I created this mess. It's not a mess, it's amazing, but I'm not at 10 million subscribers because of me. It's not that people don't want to watch the content and people don't want to be inspired. It's me. I need to get better. I need to improve. And even if it wasn't my fault, just taking that on gives you hope that you can change it. And as soon as you start putting, not even the blame. I think blame is not, I don't think blame helps. I don't care who to blame. I care how do we fix it, right? If there's a problem that happens in my business, it's not like who screwed up. I don't care who screwed up. I care what are we gonna do to make sure that we can get out of this hole and then it doesn't happen again the next time, right? Taking personal accountability for where you're at. If you have not hit your goals, this is good news. You can, but nobody's coming to save you. Nothing's gonna magically change around you. You're the change. You will make the change. You can go make it happen. If I want to grow my business bigger, I need to accept that I need to grow bigger. Me, personally, Evan Carmichael. It is my fault. It is my responsibility. I am to blame. And use that as a kick forward to say, great. Like at the beginning, it may suck. Say, oh man, I've wasted how many, weeks, months, years going down the wrong path, just casting blame on other people, realizing now it's my fault. Okay, well, what can you do about it? Now you can change it. Like at the start, the realization sucks, but then it's also the greatest thing of all time. If you're coming from under the rock and realize, oh my God, this is all my fault, that gives you the power to fix it. Because as long as you're relying on somebody else to do something and they don't show up, you can constantly blame them, but you're never growing, you're never accomplishing anything because you're waiting for them. You have to wait for anybody. It's just you. And you can fix it. You have the strength, you have the power, you're Michael Jordan, you have the abilities, you have the skill set, and if you don't have it yet, you can develop it, you can acquire it. Because your heroes did it, and you can too. So how do you do it? I'm gonna give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is accept responsibility for where you're at. Just say, I'm here because of me. Just accept the responsibility. Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't say you've wasted however many years in the same spot, but this is your responsibility now. That where you're at right now is a result of everything that's happened to you and the choices, decisions that you have made. Even if other people have negatively impacted you in some way, it's still your responsibility now to fix it, that you can change it. Just accepting responsibility without the burden and the pain of feeling like you wasted a whole bunch of time, right? It's a clean slate. We're starting over. However old you are, great. You're starting fresh. And you get to create the next 2 decades of your life. How about we make it a masterpiece? Step number 2 is decide what needs to change. You want to make that masterpiece of a life happen? Awesome. What needs to change? Who do you need to become? What are the habits that you need to do? The people that you look up to, respect, admire, who've done what you want to do, who came from worse than where you came from, they've gone off and achieved. What did they do? What actions did they take? What skill sets did they learn? What mindset shifts did they need to make inside them? Who did they start hanging out with, right? All of those. What are the habits? What media did they consume? What books did they read? All of it. Understanding what you need to change allows you to create a roadmap. So you want to build that beautiful life, that amazing life, amazing. What needs to change? Now, decide what needs to change. You may not even hate your life. That's even worse. If you don't hate your life, it's harder to make growth. If you absolutely hate your life, you say like, this sucks, I'm moving on, you've hit rock bottom, then it's actually very easy to grow. It's when things are just good. You don't hate your life, but it's good. It's good, right? Your life is good. You have internet, you have family, it's good. But you know you're capable of more. That's where you need to push. That's where you need to decide. Like, what does an amazing life look like? What does a masterpiece of a life look like for you? And write it out and look at it and get emotional. Like, I want that. That must happen. And if you're feeling that, then what has to change in you to go off and make that happen? Decide today. And step number 3 is map your actions to your ambitions. You say you want this. You say you want that masterpiece of a life. You say you want to be here. Great. What are you going to do every week? What are you going to do every day? Your calendar dictates who you are. Success is habits, not some final destination. So how can you map your actions of what you're doing in your calendar to your ambitions to become the person that you want to become and achieve what you want to achieve? So if you've decided, you've taken responsibility for where you're at in life, and it's your responsibility to fix it and change it. You've mapped out what a great life looks like for you. Great. Now break that down. Instead of thinking 10, 20 years out, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do this week? Pull out your calendar from Sunday to Sunday and map out where you're going to be spending your time. And then step above it and look at it and say, if I did these things for the week, if I did those things, will I move closer to building that life that I want? And if it's a yes, amazing, do it. And if it's no, then go fix it. Then all you have to do is get up every day and do the work.
Rule number 5, be your biggest fan and critic.
I think judging yourself is actually great. I think you need it. I think it's healthy. I think people should be harder on themselves. The problem is people can't handle being even a little bit harder on themselves because they're already at the point of being depressed or even suicidal. The secret starts with self-love. Your self-love has to equal your self-criticism. You have to be your biggest fan as well as your biggest critic. The root problem isn't judging yourself, it's not loving yourself. One of the challenges I think of being human is we are social animals. We're social creatures. We rely on each other. We need each other. We want to belong. We want to be part of tribes. We want to do things together, right? We want to be around other people. So that makes us want to fit in. And that makes us play small, worry about what people think about us, because if we don't do the thing that they want us to do, they might judge us and kick us out of the tribe. The good news is there's so many different tribes you can do now, right? There's so many different people that it may not be your friends that you have right now. It may not be your parents or your family or your community right now. But whatever you want to do, there is a group of people who believe the same things you believe, who think the same way you think. And I think one of the healthiest things that you can do is whenever you feel the eyes of potential judgment for something that you want to do, you have to go off and do it just to show yourself. And so I look at my own story as an example. I'm about to go off and do this tour. We're doing 3 months on the road, 22 cities, and to up the game, to make it even more scary or different or interesting is we're gonna be doing 8 to 12 hours of live streaming every day. So every day while I'm on the tour, we have 3 modems with us. Let me show you. So Ray on my team is gonna be carrying this backpack around for 3 months. And in here, there's 3 different modems, there's batteries, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and there's this key. I think it's okay. There's this camera that's gonna be, attached to the shoulder. He's gonna be holding it around. We can plug the microphone in. Anyway, 8 to 12 hours a day, every day for 3 months. We're gonna be live streaming it. If you're a member of the channel, you can get access to it. Membership costs, I think $4.99 a month. So you can get on, and it's scary for me because there's no hiding, right? There's no hiding. Even in these videos, I'm coming, I'm polished, I got my gear on, and I don't know what could go wrong. But it's 8 to 12 hours. Can you imagine your entire day, every day being filmed, unedited, just being put up there, and people have the potential to judge? And why I did this was the starting point. Why I decided to go off and make this crazy thing happen was I was recovering from my neck injury. I thought of the idea, and I was trying to do burpees as part of my start to get back into recovery because I broke my neck and couldn't do any activity. I started doing burpees, and I could do like 10 burpees. And then it started hurting. I started getting tired. I hadn't worked out in a while. And I thought, wow, that's so embarrassing. I can't even do 10 burpees. Can you imagine if I'm being filmed for 8 to 12 hours and people are watching me struggle to do 10 burpees. And because that thought even came into my mind, then I had to do it. Then we had to go and say yes to the live stream. And so I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna do that I might get judged for. I don't know what I might do that I may not make myself feel proud for. But it's all gonna be recorded and it's all gonna be broadcast. And if you're a member, you're gonna see the videos. And so whenever you feel the eyes of judgment on you, teach yourself that you step into it, that you do difficult things, that you do it, because the day that you play small based off other people's expectations of you, you're gonna lose. So there's a 3-step process I'm gonna walk you through that I think will help. Step number 1 is cheer for yourself like you would your favorite sports team. We cheer for sports teams, right? I'm here in Toronto. The Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship not that long ago, and people are freaking out and cheering and celebrating and hugging and kissing and doing parades. How about you do that for yourself? Why don't you cheer for yourself like you would cheer for the Raptors or your favorite basketball team or your favorite baseball or football or whatever team? Cheer for yourself that way. When was the last time you wanted to throw a parade for yourself? You know, you do that, you even talk about that, and the world tries to clap you down, to say that person has such a big ego, right? And whether you make that public or not, at least in your head, you're telling yourself, I'm amazing. See that thing I just did? You know what I just did? That's amazing. Because when you love yourself like that, when you're willing to say, I deserve to have a parade I'm gonna throw myself a parade right now. When you embody that, then you can go way harder on yourself. When you actually believe that, you can go so much harder on yourself. You can say, I suck at whatever, making YouTube videos, at accounting, at piano, at whatever the skill is that you're trying to learn. You're okay saying you suck at it because it's based off a foundation of love. But if you don't have a foundation of love, then you can't handle just a little bit more criticism from anybody else. And so you need to learn to recognize when you did something amazing and cheer for yourself like you would your favorite sports team. Number 2 is you do difficult things. You start building self-love from doing difficult things. If all you did was easy things, you might post about it to Instagram and say, look at what I did, woo. But you don't love it. You don't feel great because you knew it was easy. You can win a race against 3-year-olds and yay, you won a medal, great. But you know that inside you don't feel great about yourself because it was easy. You don't get love by doing easy things. You get self-love by doing difficult things. And so look at the things ahead of you, the ideas that you have, what you want to become. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. And anytime you hear yourself saying, well, it's too hard, it's too difficult, as the reason why you can't do it, that means it's go time again. It's go time. You have to do it because you do difficult things. And if you ever catch yourself saying it, it's go time, and you tell your friends and family around you to say, if you ever hear me say, it's hard, or that's difficult, as the reason why I'm not going to do something, you need to call me out. You need to call me out on it and tell me. And when somebody does call you out on it, then you have to go off and do it. Because you know what? You do difficult things. You love difficult things because everything you want out of life is on the other side of difficult things. And step 3 is tie your self-worth to the effort, not the result. This is one of the biggest things. When you can learn to tie your self-worth to the effort that you are putting in, not the results you are getting, your entire life will change. People tie their self-worth to the results, to winning, to getting the award, to hitting 1 million subscribers, to getting the new book out, right? Just the result, the result, the result. When you tie your self-worth to a result, you only do things where you know you're gonna get a result, and therefore you play small for life. When you tie your self-worth to the effort, to the hard work that you're putting in, to being able to pat yourself on the back, even though you did not get a result, even though you sucked. Because you're going to suck at the beginning. Why do you expect to be great? You're not going to be great. You're going to suck at the beginning. That's okay. That's normal. That's being a human. Amazing. The people who win get up and keep going by tying your self-worth to the effort. Find something every day to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm glad that I tried that thing. You're gonna make a video, great. Your first one's gonna be terrible, post. You tried, amazing, next. Because if you woke up every day and you put your best effort in, you're gonna accomplish way, 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 way more than if you just tie your self-worth to the results that you're trying to get. The problem isn't judgment. The problem is loving yourself. Apply those 3 things, you'll love yourself more, your life will change.
Rule number 6, have a mission.
You don't win a Nobel Prize by telling yourself that you want to win a Nobel Prize. You win a Nobel Prize by having a mission so big that it forces you to become somebody new. A stronger, more bold, more resilient version of you. If you make success your goal, you will most likely miss it because you have the wrong outcome in mind. Make impact your goal. Make your mission your goal, and you'll end up having more success than you ever thought possible. I look at my YouTube channel as an example, and the next goal would be to have 10 million subscribers, right? I got my 100,000 plaque. I got 3 of them there. I got my million plaque. The next goal is 10 million. And there's nothing wrong with having goals, but the problem is if I made 10 million the thing, like all I'm doing is chasing down 10 million subscribers, it forces you to do short-term decisions that end up not serving you, right? If I wanted to just blow up my channel, the best way to do it isn't actually to spread positive content. Negativity spreads much faster than positivity. If I made a top 10 video on why this person sucked, or an espresso about how this person's an idiot, or people fighting, people can't help but see that. That's why people stop to see the car accident on the highway, right? We don't reward the good drivers. You want to see the chaos. You want to see what caused the flame. There's a fight on a street corner. You stop to see what's going on, right? We're attracted to the negativity more than the positivity. That's a faster way to blow up my channel. The problem is, I wouldn't feel good about it. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to spread conflict and chaos. I don't want to spread pessimism. I don't want to spread despair. I don't want to spread ego. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to do that. And so it would lead to me flaming out before I ever hit the goal. That's the problem. You can have this goal. This is what most people do. You have some goal. Here's my goal. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. The problem is you won't do whatever it takes because it's going to get too hard. You can only do things for so long that you don't love before you quit and give up. And so there's nothing wrong with having a goal, but more important than the goal is the mission. I want to solve the world's biggest problem. It's something that's never going to happen. Never. In my lifetime, it's never going to happen. I want people to believe in themselves more. It's never going to hit that ultimate goal where everybody is Michael Jordan at something. It will never happen. And I wake up every day trying to do that. And so if you make a goal tied to some outcome, like getting 10 million subscribers on YouTube, it's going to force you down a path that likely won't serve you. So you lead with the mission, you lead with the impact, and success will follow. Now, how do you do it? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1 is understand that your purpose comes from your pain. So the goal isn't the thing, the mission, the impact is the thing. Great, so what's your mission? Well, your mission comes from your pain. Your purpose comes from your pain. The thing that you struggled the most with in life is the thing that you want to help other people with for life. There are so many people who currently are what you used to be. Think about who you used to be, whether it's a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. When were you at the lowest of lows? The lowest of lows. You felt worthless, hopeless. There was no path forward. You didn't know what to do. You were lost. Maybe you turned to the dark side of life for a little bit. That person, there's a lot of people who currently are that person. You can help them. You must help them. You want to help them. That's your purpose. That's your mission for the rest of your life. So people struggle with figuring out what's my purpose. That's it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You want to help people who currently are who you used to be. And every time you step up and you keep learning, you keep growing, you reach back and you help people learn and grow a little bit more as well. Your purpose comes from your pain. That's your mission for life. Step number 2 is have your big why and little why. Your big why is your big mission, the why, what you're doing, right? Your purpose from your pain, what you're trying to do. I wake up every day and I'm trying to conquer this impossible thing. That's your big why. And sometimes that's motivating, inspiring, it gets you out of bed, you want to go do it. It gets you feeling amazing. But sometimes it feels too big. Sometimes it feels impossible. Sometimes you question yourself, like, who are you to go off and do this crazy big thing? That's where the little why comes into place. The little why is you saying, well, I may not be able to do this big thing, but I can help one person. And it's thinking back to one person that you helped, one YouTube comment that came in, one client who took your advice, one person who you met on the street and you helped, or somebody who showed up to your event, or a client, customer who called in and you helped them. You helped them. You helped them. You've helped somebody. And even though you may feel like helping a billion people is way too impossible, you know you can help somebody. And so on the days when you need that little bit extra motivation, on the days when you feel too small, you remember your little why. That you can still get up and you can help one person and another person and another person. And so when the days when the big why is enough, amazing. And when it's not enough, you turn to the little why. You have the big why and the little why. Those combined help give you the motivation to get going every single day. And then step 3 is have daily momentum. The biggest thing for most people that's missing is momentum. You're a genius. You have great ideas. You could do amazing things. I believe in you. I see it across all the people that I've met off the tour I did last year, the tour I'm doing next year. You have amazing genius level talent. The problem for so many entrepreneurs is they start and they stop and they start and they stop. They don't see results and so they quit. That starting and stopping is the thing that prevents you from winning. It's the daily consistent grind. Every single day doing something to move your mission forward. That's important. My channel has won, even though I'm less talented than a lot of people who I've passed because I did a video every day. And it's been, it was 3 videos a day, and now we're doing 6 videos a day across YouTube, across different channels. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's just being willing to get up and every day do it, right? Just if you're trying to lose weight, if you diet once a week, if you eat healthy once a week, if you exercise once a week, you're not going to get results. Why do you think you're going to get results in your business? It's the same thing. It's consistency. It's the every single day follow through. And it's hard to anticipate what you can do in a day, but if you keep looking back, if you did something every day for the next 6 months, you look back, you'll see how far you came. Like, I can't believe I came that far. It was only 6 months ago. That's wild. That's crazy. Because every single day you did work. The only thing you're missing is momentum.
Rule number 7, the last one before our very special bonus clip, spend time with yourself.
I feel like I'm always spending time with myself. I'm always talking to myself. I'm always reminding myself of how awesome I am, of the ideas that I have are great and I need to start acting on them. I'm very aware of my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, and whenever it's not feeling right, I switch, and I'll switch on a dime. As soon as this YouTube channel stops feeling worth it, not fun anymore, wrong energy, I'm out, and I'll just leave it behind. I move on and go do something else. I think the same thing of meditation. I haven't been able to maintain and find value in a meditation practice because I think there's two sides of meditation, and I've only recently learned the difference. The first is about focus and presence. I'm always focused, I'm almost always focused in presence. I'm 85% in the moment focused and 15% thinking about the future and 0% thinking backwards. Somebody asked me that question, how much time do you spend past, present, future in your day-to-day? Like 0 about the past. That's why I have a poor memory. Mark Drager says I have a poor memory. I just don't live in the past. So I don't remember most things because they don't matter to me. They don't apply to me. I'm not thinking about, even when you ask me how old I am, I have to think about the year. Who cares? I was born in 1980, May 20th, 1980. How is that relevant? Because you want to compare your journey to mine, that I've come this far at 39 and you made it this far at 24 or 54 or whatever. I don't know. I just don't think that way. I think 0 going backwards. And then most of the time is present and a little bit future, forward thinking. Whenever I'm feeling stuck, I'll spend more time with myself. If I feel like I need to go for a walk, I'll go for a walk. It's just paying attention to feelings. Another conversation I get into with Mark constantly is, I don't remember what I said, but I remember how I felt. And that's mostly where I live, just in the lens of feelings and constantly talking to myself. And so this message was a little bit hard for me, but I recognize that I'm probably a super weird duck. In my conversation with people, I recognize that this is not normal. So I don't know how to teach it. And maybe that becomes the next evolution of what I end up doing. I don't know, it doesn't feel right. See, even in the language, right? It doesn't feel right now, but maybe it'll become something. So that's the first part of meditation, is just focus, mindfulness, being present. And that's super easy for me to do. This is just super easy to do. Again, I don't know if it's been trained or it's in me. I've done multiple meditations with different experts all the way up to the top. Meditation with, Tony Robbins and Sadhguru and the top, like the best of the best. And I've never felt the altered state of consciousness, which is the second part of meditation. So focus, presence, mindfulness is easy to do. I could chew a cookie for an hour. When I was in university, I would do that just as a test. I would chew a cookie for an hour and it became this kind of gum. Right? One of the greatest strengths, and maybe weaknesses too, for me being an entrepreneur, is when I'm focused on something, it's all I can focus on. I don't get distracted by other things. I don't want to be distracted by other things. What I'm going to make in this moment is going to be gold. It's going to be amazing. I need to go off and continue to create, and I can't let go. I can't let go of the bone. Like I can't let go. This thing has to happen. I'm going to will it into existence. There's no other option. and I'll throw everything else away because this thing is all that matters right now, just this. The other side of meditation is altered state of consciousness, which is more like sleeping is an altered state of consciousness, where you don't feel the time pass when you sleep, right? Where when I'm meditating, some people can meditate and go 8 hours of meditation and says it feels like it was 5 minutes. That's not me. I could sit there for an hour or however long and not be distracted and not have to get up to pee or whatever. Focused, I can do that, great. But it feels like an hour. If you ask me how long would it be, I'd guess about an hour. I haven't found how to hit that alternate state of consciousness where you're sitting for an hour, but it feels like 40 seconds. So that's my next journey into meditation. If you guys have resources, ideas, suggestions of how to hit that, I've never felt that in any meditation session I've been through. And so I see the same thing as spending time with yourself. I feel instantly that I'm always spending time with myself. That even these videos that I make, I'm making them for you, but it's a conversation with myself. I'm thinking about what I want to say. I'm proud of myself for saying it. I try to understand the message. I'm attention to how I'm feeling, whether I need to have some more water, whether I need to go take a break, go out and play with the dogs. I honestly think more people are capable of it. I think it's just trusting your feelings and intuition. I might get up after this and just go play with my dog and have a conversation with him. Or I might just go decide I want to change my hoodie and talk to myself while I do it. I don't know. I just might decide to do that. I think everybody actually has that. We're just ignoring it. We're just saying, oh, I don't want, shut up. I'm focused on this. We're tuning out our voice because we're too focused on a million other things at the same time. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense. This is a weird one for me, but I thought I'd put it in because for most of these videos, for most of the points, I have a clear, concise message. I know what I want to get across. I've heard the message before. I have my point of view on it and I want to share. This one is a little less structured for me. It's a little more challenging, more difficult for me. And instead of telling my team, no, I don't want to do this one on Dandapani, go find another one that I can talk to, I said, no, let's take it on and see where it goes. Nobody wakes up every day and says, this is gonna be the greatest day ever. Not Dan Locke, not Evan Carmichael, not Tony Robbins, nobody. You wake up and you're tired and you have stuff in your eyes and you have lines on your face from the pillows. The difference between successful people is that they demand excellence from themselves through the habits and routines that they do daily. The problem is that thinking that these people are different, that if you're not waking up with tons of motivation ready to take on the day, that something is wrong with you. The only thing that's wrong with you is you don't have the habits that set you up for success every single day, and today, I want to change that. So I have a 5S morning routine that I go through every single day that sets me up for success, that demands excellence, and I'm going to share with you guys today. The first S is sing. The fastest way to change your state is to put on music. The fastest way to go from feeling low energy, tired, bored, into an energy of I am ready to go is music. Put on the song, not that makes you feel the current way that you're feeling. This is where most people mess up. You put on music for how you're currently feeling. If you're feeling really sad and low energy, you're gonna put on really mellow, slow music. What does that do? It keeps you in the same state that you're in. It keeps you exactly where you are. What you wanna do is put on the music for how you wanna feel. And so I have a playlist on my main channel called the Believe playlist, which is the songs that I listen to. These are the songs that I listen to every day. They may work for you, they may not work for you. There's no perfect song for everybody. There's a perfect song for you. And so build a playlist of the songs that make you come alive. Here's the criteria. If this song came on, it would force you to start moving. If the song came on, you find yourself doing this. If the song came on, you would get out of your chair and want to move around. Doesn't mean you're gonna dance like crazy. Doesn't mean you're gonna start belting out the lyrics. That may be you, awesome. But if you're a little more introverted or don't like to dance, something that would make you move, something that would get you at least in your chair doing this, that's what I want. Make a playlist and put that on as the first thing that you do every single morning. It'll make a huge difference to setting the tone, changing your state, and giving you energy and momentum to start the day. S number 2 is sun. I like getting outside. I think there's something about getting outside of your home, of your condo, your apartment, getting outside, getting some fresh air, just being out in nature makes a big difference. Getting some vitamins on your face from the sun outside, but also signifying that you're leaving your bedroom, you're leaving the condo, the apartment, the home, you're leaving what happened last night, and you're ready to go off and start the day. This is especially important if you're working from home, because it's easy to have your office right next to your bedroom, or maybe your office is your bedroom, and carry that bedroom energy, that tired, I just woke up, I want to stay in bed, I want to sleep energy into your work, and you won't do great things if that's the energy you're carrying to your work. So having some kind of ritual that splits up sleeping energy to I'm ready to go energy makes a big difference, and I find the easiest way to do it is to get outside and get some sun. Bonus points if you're in a condo or apartment to take the stairs instead of the elevator. S number 3 is soar, and this is the most important thing for me. If you only take one of the 5, I think this is the most important one to take. What is the thing that makes you soar every day? What's the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident? What is that? And put it into your morning routine. At some point in your life, you felt bold. You felt unstoppable. You felt confident. It's happened to everybody. The problem is you don't feel that way consistently every day. You go through these bursts, these moments of, man, I could do such amazing things, but then the next day you wake up and you're a different person. You're back to the, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. Who am I to go do this crazy thing? That's the problem. So whatever the thing is that makes you feel like you can come alive, that gives you that boldness and confidence, plan it with intention every single day into your morning routine. For me, what I do is I record a message on my phone to Instagram, to my stories, I put it to LinkedIn and Twitter. Right now I'm putting it everywhere, but I need to make a message. So I think of somebody that I helped yesterday. I think of somebody who commented on a video, who I met in person, who I coached on my Instagram Live, somebody that I helped yesterday. And then I make a message channeling that person. I won't say the person's name, but I have them in my head that I need to remind myself that the work that I do is important. It's easy to get lost in numbers. It's hard to imagine that 200,000 to 300,000 people watched my videos yesterday. That's crazy. It's a wild number, right? It's wild. It's hard to, what does it even mean? I don't know. I'm just sitting here talking to a camera in my office, and 200,000 to 300,000 people are watching my videos. It's crazy. I need to think down to the actual person. I need to think about an individual, that this matters to somebody, that the work I do really means something to them. And then I need to record a message and share it. That helps me soar, and I do it every day. What is the thing for you? What makes you soar? Maybe it's watching the 254 series that I put up every day. Maybe it's watching the espresso videos like this that I put up every day. And some people, every day, this is part of the morning routine, is watching an espresso video, and I'm humbled to be part of your morning routine. For other people, it might be meditating, it might be watching a video, it might be reading a book, listening to a podcast. I don't care what the thing is. But you have felt bold, unstoppable, and confident at some point in your life. What led you to feeling that way, and then demand it of yourself every day by putting it into your morning routine? The third S is soar. It's the most important one. The fourth S for me is sweat. This is just about being healthy, having a healthy lifestyle, and I want to do something that makes me sweat. So whether it's a HIIT workout, a cardio workout, a weights workout, I put that into my daily routine because I want to bust a sweat and I want to stay healthy into my 40s, which is coming up, and then into my 50s and beyond. And then the last S for me is scare. I want to do something every day that scares me. What I'm doing right now is I take a cold shower. So after sweating, I need to have a shower. Don't want to show up to work all smelly. And so I hop in the shower, but right away start turning it colder and colder and colder and colder and colder. And then right at the very end, I go all the way cold and I freeze. And even just thinking of it right now, it sucks, which is the best. Right? You want to do the thing that scares you every day. You're teaching yourself that I do scary things. So whatever is scary for you, whether it's taking a cold shower, whether it's making a phone call, whether it's sending an email, making a video and posting it, doing scary things, teaching yourself, getting that out of the way right from the beginning, I find really helps me. If you quit on something too soon that you still love, you will regret it for the rest of your life. If you don't love it anymore, quit. Move on. You will never win doing work that you hate. But if you love it, and you move on to something else, you will look back on this day and regret it for the rest of your life that you did not see it through. Most people spend their entire life living with regrets. Don't let that be you. The hardest decision I ever had to make in my life was being an entrepreneur. I struggled a lot with the decision, do I want to be an entrepreneur, and had this opportunity to make $300 a month and earn 30% of a company versus going to work at a job that I thought I wanted, a job that I'd been preparing myself for, that this is what I wanted to do. It was in my high school yearbook of this is where I was gonna be. And here it was, earning 6 figures, traveling around the world, doing the investment banking that I thought I wanted to do, versus making $300 a month and owning 30% of a company. And the thing that allowed me to push through and be an entrepreneur was me saying, I don't want to live with regret. That I would rather no one fail than not know. And I gave myself a year. I said, I'm going to give myself a year to do this. I could always go back and get another job. It may not be the same job. It probably wouldn't be the same job. It may not be as much pay. It may not be traveling as much as this job was offering me to travel. But this entrepreneurial thing, this opportunity that I had, I never knew if it would come back again. Like I thought maybe this will never happen to me again. And so I decided to go for it. And we struggled and it was hard, but I never ended up having to go back and get another job. And so if you're at an inflection point, if you're thinking about which path should I take, A or B, lean in with your heart. Stop using your head. Your head only understands the world that currently exists. Lean in with your heart and ask yourself, which decision will I regret more if I don't do? And then go take that action. I became an entrepreneur because I didn't want to regret not having at least tried. And a great moment in my life came a number of years later where one of the people I went to university with came back and said, Evan, I went down that path. I became the investment banker and I hate my life. How do I become an entrepreneur? And I looked in his eyes and I saw the desperation and the sadness and helped him, but also was so grateful that that wasn't me, because it could have been. So how do you live a life not filled with regrets? I'm going to give you a 3-step process that I think will help. Step number 1, ask yourself, do you still love it? If you are making something, if you're in the process of creating your business and it's not getting results, ask yourself, do you still love it? It's easy to keep going when you're making money and everything's working, right? When you're at the high, it's easy to keep going. But when it's not working out, for me, when I was making videos and it wasn't working out, it's hard to build a YouTube channel. In the early days, I kept going because I loved it. Ask yourself, this thing that you're doing every single day, this thing that you're worried about leaving and quitting and giving up on, do you still love the process of it? Not just getting some result, not just making $1 million, not just getting 1 million subscribers, whatever your outcome is, the process, the work. Do you actually love the work? If you do, then you have to keep going. Step number 2, ask yourself, how can you keep going? How can you keep going? How do you keep the momentum going? The biggest thing missing for most people is momentum. You're just not doing enough on a daily basis. You stop and start and stop and start and stop and start, and people give up and they quit too soon before you allow that momentum to grow and to carry you. So how can you keep that momentum going? How can you do something every single day to move your mission a little bit forward? Not taking giant steps, but just a little bit, tiny step forward every single day. Even if that means you have to go back and get a job. Even if that means that, listen, maybe you're out of money right now. Maybe you took a bet on entrepreneurship and you tried it for 6 to 9 months and now your bank account is dry because you spent it all. Great. Maybe you have to go back and get another job. 1, make sure that that job is something that you're going to learn from, not just make an income from. But then 2, make sure that when you're coming home, you're still spending 30, 45, 60, 90, 120 minutes every day. Don't let the momentum stop on your idea. And step number 3 is ask yourself, what will you do to sustain that momentum? What keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? Whether you're having pictures on your wall like I have here, whether it's watching videos like this on my channel every day, listen to a podcast, morning routines, you need to inject that into yourself every day. When you don't see the light, when you're not seeing the results, when it feels like there is no momentum, you need to demand that boldness in you every day. So ask yourself, what is the thing that makes you feel alive, bold, confident, that makes you want to go out and create and build momentum even when you don't see any light around you? What is that thing that you need? And then bring that into your morning routine. Demand that from yourself on a daily basis. Instead of hoping that you wake up all motivated today to go out and do work, successful people demand excellence from themselves on a daily basis because they put something in their morning routine that reminds them of what their mission is and how important it is to move forward. Doing what you are afraid of is your path to success. Every time you take on something new that scares you, that pushes your comfort zone, that requires you to stretch, on the other side of that scary thing is the new you who is now capable of more. Most people, they shrink from scary things because they're scary. But if you want to win, if you want to hit your ambitious goals, then you have to teach yourself that you do scary things. So I recently came back from 2 pretty significant speaking gigs in my career as I'm building up and speaking on bigger stages. The first was when I was speaking at Brendon Burchard's event, and it's his growth.com event. And Brendon, one of the greatest speakers in the world, invited me to come and talk to his group of a couple thousand people. And then I went to Ed Milet's event just recently in Whistler. And this is a smaller group, 100 so people, but they pay $60,000 a year to be a part of his program. And so they're coming to learn from the best. He sandwiched me between David Goggins and Peyton Manning. So it's David Goggins, and then me, and then Peyton Manning. That was the lineup. And so when I was backstage at the Brendon event, I remember moments before going on stage, I was the most scared that I'd been in a long time. The most nervous, the most anxious. I was afraid of disappointing people. My biggest fear is letting people down. My biggest fear is that I'm going to let Brendon down and Dean Graziosi, who they both brought me there. And I was just going to suck on stage. That was my biggest fear. And so I had a mini panic attack backstage. 5 minutes before going up, I have this mini panic attack, and I'm forgetting what I'm going to say. I imagine myself going on stage and just blanking out. And I tell myself, I'm Evan Carmichael. I do difficult things. I love difficult things. If I don't do difficult things, I'm never going to accomplish great things. So I have to do difficult things. I love it. I thrive on difficult things. And then I remembered what I was going to say. And then I went out and I did my thing. And now when I went to Ed's event, I wasn't as nervous. I wasn't as afraid. I was still scared. I was still afraid of letting down Ed Milet, letting down Andy Frisella, who they both brought me there, being between David Goggins and Peyton Manning and just being outshone. Everybody knows them. They may not know me. All of it, all of the fears and doubts, but less than what I had at Brendon's event. Not because it wasn't as big a deal, but because I had just done it. Because speaking on stage to a couple thousand people at Brendon's event and having that panic attack and getting through it changed who I was, made me stronger, made me more capable of doing the next thing. And the next thing was Ed's thing. And so if I hadn't gone to Brendon's, I would be terrified going to Ed's thing. So every time you take on these difficult challenges, you might have the panic attack. You might have the anxiety inside you. You might have that little voice to say, you can't do it. What if you fail? What if you disappoint people? What if you lose respect? What if it doesn't work out? But you know what's worse? You know what's worse than going up and failing? Not trying. Not doing it. Finding some reason, finding some excuse to say you're sick, you're busy, you can't make it. But in the back of your head, you know you were just afraid. And the last thing you want to do is teach yourself that when you are afraid, that when you have an opportunity in front of you and you're afraid to do it, that you say no. You don't want to teach yourself that. You teach yourself the opposite. That when you're afraid, that when there's something in front of you that you want to do, but you're scared, you're anxious, you're worried about letting people down, that you jump in and you say, I'm all in because I do scary things. So how do you do it? I'm going to give you a 3-step process I think will help. Step number 1 is ask yourself, if you could not fail. If you could not fail, what would you do? If you could not fail, what would you do? What would you do? Just blue sky. You know you're not going to fail. What would you do? For me, I'd be speaking on bigger stages. I'd be speaking more often, be speaking on bigger stages. And that's now become, even asking that question sets into motion action, right? Now my goal is to speak on 2 stages a month. And so traveling to speak on 2 different stages every month and putting that plan into action for the next 6 to 12 months, right? If you knew that you could not fail, what would you do? Eliminate the risk of failure, right? Eliminate, because that's how we'll default back to. Like, oh, I'd love to do that, but right? But I might fail, but this is gonna happen. Then you get back into negative small thinking mode. Just for 2 minutes, forget about that stuff. For 2 minutes, let yourself dream again. And imagine, if you could not fail, what would you do? Step number 2, expect to fail. Expect to fail. Expect to suck, especially if it's your first time. If it's your first time speaking on stage, for example, you're not going to be great. You're not going to be Les Brown. You're not going to be Tony Robbins. You're not going to be Brendon Burchard. You're not going to be great. It's your first time. Your first video, you're not going to be great. It's why I kept my first video up on my channel too. You can go back and watch it. The first time you do it, you're not going to be great. This is one of the biggest fallacies in human thinking is we expect to be great the first time we do something, and if we're not great, we don't do it anymore. As kids, we learn that when we fail, we get up and we try again. As adults, though, we're so terrified of failing that we don't try most things. And then we have this constant thought in our mind that we know we're capable of more, but we're too afraid to go off and start. And so expect to fail. Step one is know that you're not going to fail. Great. That gives you the freedom to dream, to do the thing you actually want to do and not get in your own way anymore with your thinking. But step two is then you expect to fail. Micro, not macro, right? If you keep going, if you keep doing it, you keep making videos, you keep doing your speeches, you keep reaching out, you're going to win. But the first time, expect to fail. Reduce the expectation that your first time of anything has to be amazing. And then step three is tie your self-worth to the effort. So many people tie their self-worth to the result instead of the effort, right? Did I give a good result? Did I give a good speech? Did I give a good video? Did I get a result for my customer, right? Did it work? Did I win that race? Did I XYZ, right? You're tying your self-worth to the result. What you want to do is tie it to the effort. So that even if you go up on stage and suck, you tell yourself, I'm the best. I did it. When I look back at my Brendan video, at his event, I could have done better. I can always do better. I look at it, and even though people loved it and standing ovation at the end, and Brendan was freaking out and he loved it, I look at it and see all the holes, all the places where I could have been stronger, could have had more energy, could have been better. And if I was doing that speech in a smaller group, it would have been better. If I was doing that speech just to a camera with nobody in the room, it would have been way better, because I would have been able to practice it over and over and over again until it was perfect. But I'm really proud of the effort. I was 5 minutes ago, before going on stage, freaking out, having an anxiety attack, forgetting everything I was gonna say in front of this massive audience. And I went out and I did it. And so I'm proud of my effort. That's what I want for you too. You have some big ambition. You let go of the fear of failing. You then expect to fail. You expect to suck at the beginning. And you tie your self-worth and you pat yourself on the back, even if you failed, even if you stumbled, even if it sucked. And you say, I did it. I tried my best. Because every day you woke up and you tried your best, I promise you, you're gonna get amazing results.
If you want to learn how to take control of your schedule, check out the video next to me. I think you're gonna enjoy. Continue to believe. I will see you there.
Most people have not taken control of their schedules. You wake up like an accident, start responding to other people's emergencies, and help other people build their dreams instead of you building yours.